In 1970, post-bop musicians were embracing electronic instrumentation in both the US and UK, where Barbadian jazz trumpeter Harry Beckett teamed up with some of the UK's finest jazz and nascent jazz rock players on the album Flare Up. And from that album, the track Scarlet Mine. Now, what do we have already? We have some really just wild percussion with some kind of acidy electric piano and just sort of fuzzy tones and overall like kind of psychedelic vibe. I'm hearing two keyboards at once. Yeah, both with kind of a glowing tone to them. The drumming is just everywhere. It almost sounds like there's two drummers in there, and we got some stand up bass and two keyboardists, both playing kind of like buzzy, kind of like colorful, kind of bulb like glow tone notes, just sprinkling one a bit higher than the other, one a bit faster than the other. One of them's actually a lot lower in the mix. I think ostinato is starting to take shape from that stand-up bass. A minute in, and a theme has actually taken shape. Our guy has entered the picture. Harry Beckett on the trumpet, and we've also got some vibraphone, courtesy of Frank Ricotti. Yeah, and the two keyboardists. Let's see, we were hearing John Taylor on piano and electric piano, and I don't see another one credited here, so I'm going to assume that he was like doing kind of a two-handed trick there, like maybe, yeah, either on the same keyboard or on two different ones. Like, John Taylor must be ambidextrous. Harry Beckett's tone is very vibrant, very fluid, and very high in the mix. It just like beams out of everything. One can't deny that the drumming of John Webb is really omnipresent throughout this track, though. I mean, most of the flurry of this track is really down to him, and the way that he's just laying it down all over the place. Laying it down and kicking it up, I should say. Now, that is quite a darting beaming, piercing tone right there. I believe that's John Surman, who plays baritone, soprano, and soprano sax on the album. And we've also got Mike Osborne playing alto sax on the album. We've got three saxophonists on the album. We've got Mike Osborne, Alan Skidmore, and John Surman. I'm wondering if I can get a more specified list of. No, they just are all kind of credited. That no tracks are specified. So. If one of you can instantly tell the sax work, say, just by ear, pick up like John Surman versus Alan Skidmore, if you know just by hearing them which is which, leave a comment below. Now we're finally hearing them all come together. We're hearing some trumpet and sax, and finally, just when I thought that we had lost it, we've got the vibraphone back. I was wishing I'd heard a little bit more of that in the last couple of minutes. I'm very partial to the vibraphone, I gotta say, and I can never get enough of it. When I hear it, it's like, oh, give me more. That's John Surman, the track Scarlet Mine from the album Flare Up. And let's see, that was, Harry Beckett's first album as a band leader. Let's read the bio on him. At jazzrocksoul.com, it says, Harry Beckett, May 30th, 1935 to July 22nd, 2010, was a UK-based jazz trumpeter originally from the island of Barbados in the Lesser Antilles. During the late 1960s, he juggled England's post-bop and jazz rock camps with appearances on albums by Graham Collier, John Surman, Ray Russell, Jack Bruce, and Keith Hartley. In 1970, he made his debut as a bandleader with Flare Up on the Philips label. More than 15 albums followed over the next 4 decades in lead and combo configurations, in addition to numerous backing appearances. During the 1980s, Beckett's name appeared on albums by assorted new wave sophistopop artists, including The Raincoats, Working Week, Yaw Wobble, and David Sylvian. And the basic discography of his, Flare Up 1970, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 further titles in band lead, in a lead role during the 1970s, and 3 during the 1980s, mostly like mid to late 80s there. And since that was over and done so quickly, I'm going to play another one, the title track from the album, Flare Up. This almost sounds like it could have just come right out of the last track we were hearing. I'm hearing a lot of the same energy. Just it's like a really dense abstract painting of just sonic color and splatter. Well, Fender electric piano is a bit more muted. It's less like punctual than it was in the last track. It's a bit softer. It's like little drops of sound to kind of fill out the whatever sonic openings may exist amid all the drumming flurry and the brass notes. Each time the sax comes in, it just opens up the track so much, like on this one and the last one. It like opens up, it's almost like the sonic equivalent of like a peacock opening its feathers. I would like to hear more vibraphone though. One of my regrets from about my teen years is that I didn't learn how to play vibraphone or xylophone. I bought a guitar. I wish if I could go back to being 13 instead of buying a guitar, I would have bought a vibraphone or a xylophone. I sometimes picture my younger, more flamboyant self becoming like a master, becoming a vibraphone, xylophone virtuoso. That would have given me a distinct marketing edge back when I was in my early 20s, I'm pretty sure. Granted, when the music scene kind of just went right down into the drain in the early 90s, another calling came my way, and that was to become an archivist and a preservationist of music from the Maximal Trilustrum. Was I hearing an instrument there that I didn't hear throughout the rest of the piece? I thought I heard a bit of violin creep in right at the end there, although I don't see that instrument credited. I swear just toward the end there was like a string, a bowed instrument. Or maybe it was just something else kind of mimicking. Ah. Oh well. Harry Beckett, the title track from Flare Up, and before that, Scarlet Mine from the same album. Released in 1970 on Philips in the UK, and reissued in 2002 on Jazz Print, and has gained quite more of a reputation here in the 21st century as more like archivists and explorers and connoisseurs are exploring the UK jazz scene of the 60s and early 70s, and yeah, had quite a strong, thriving scene. And some of the who's who was on this album. I mean, like Ellen Skidmore and John Surman were names to be reckoned with on the in the UK during the 1960s. Graham Collier arranged four of the tracks. John Taylor, not to be confused with the Duran Duran bassist, and Mike Osborne, alto sax. Frank Ricotti, who put out I think he was in a singer-songwriter duo that put out an album in 1971, kind of an acid folk album. So that guy who played vibraphone on this, kind of got around in a few different areas. Um, anyway, yeah, here he is. Yeah, Ricotti and Albuquerque, First Wind on Pegasus. Oh, it's been a while since I would have to recheck that one again. Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess it is kind of jazzy. It's like vibraphone jazz. I guess I was thinking acid folk because of the cover art. The cover art looks like really sleepy, breezy type thing. It's a sentient cloud blowing smoke at an adjacent cloud. Yeah. Anyway, for more rubies and sapphires from the Flare Up album, see the directory of albums by Caribbean artists linked in the description below for Harry Beckett's Flare Up and other artists from like Barbados. The few of them I have anyway. Let's see who might be on there without. Let's see the Lesser Antilles. Oh, you can find albums by Foul Fret, John Lucian, Joan Armatrading, Roland Prince. Yeah, Love Machine. Yeah, all from the Lesser Antilles. And like and subscribe and leave a comment on anything that stood out to you or any observations you have about the tracks we heard. And like and subscribe and follow me on social media to know when the next video is coming out. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear travel trimaximalist, signing off.